Join us now for Education Matters, a weekly look at the real people and real stories in education across North Carolina.
Welcome to Education Matters, presented by the Public School Forum of North Carolina. I'm Keith Poston. Trinity Christian School, a private K-12 religious school in Fayetteville, is the state's largest recipient of taxpayer-funded private school vouchers, receiving $1.7 million since the General Assembly launched the Opportunity Scholarship Program in 2014. Trinity is also home to one of the state's elite high school basketball programs, producing highly coveted college recruits and an NBA lottery pick last year. Earlier this year, its head coach, who is also a teacher at the school, was convicted of embezzling nearly $400,000 in employees' state tax withholdings. But that's only part of the story. You'll have to stick around and hear the rest of it on today's show. Before we tackle our main topics, we open with Edlines, a quick scan of education headlines across North Carolina and the U.S. Last week, the State Board of Education voted to accept the recommendation of Innovative School District Superintendent Eric Hall to make Robeson County's Southside Ashpole Elementary School the first and only school in the state's new program that plans to turn over operations of some of the state's lowest performing schools to charter management organizations. By law, Robeson County must decide by February 1st whether they will turn the school over or close it down. Several school districts, including Robeson, protested inclusion in the effort, which is modeled after programs in other states that have shown lackluster results. Asked by one state board education member if only one school was selected due to community opposition, Superintendent Hall said, "Community pushback is not my concern." A new joint legislative task force on education finance reform held its first meeting last week. It is tasked with creating a new way to distribute the more than $9 billion the state spends on K-12 education in North Carolina. The task force is co-chaired by Representative Craig Horn, Republican from Union County, and Senator Mike Lee, Republican from New Hanover County. While many education groups have urged the General Assembly to consider adequacy of school funding, co-chair Craig Horn says the task force will not focus on need, but rather the system used to distribute the funds. Finally, U.S. House and Senate Republican leaders unveiled their tax reform package last week in Washington. Called the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, the proposal eliminates a number of education-related tax deductions and credits to help fund corporate and personal income tax cuts. The bill would eliminate a $250 deduction for teachers who purchase classroom supplies, as well as eliminates deductions for student loan interest payments and education expenses, and repeals deductions that help part-time students and blocks private universities from using tax-free bonds for construction. The bill was met with immediate opposition from a number of higher education groups, for example, which argued that the measure would rob institutions of vital dollars and increase the price of college for debt-laden students who are already strapped by their families' finances. Locally, Duke University's Vice President of Government Affairs, Michael Schoenfeld, called it a tax on education. Remember, you can visit the Public School Forum's website at ncforum.org, click on Education Matters, and read more about each of the Edlines as well as other topics we cover each week.